Hi everyone, my name is Jana Bullard. I'm a media coordinator at D.H. Conley High School in Pitt County, North Carolina, and I'm super excited to bring this presentation to you. This presentation is entitled Surf's Up, Catching Waves of Creativity with Green Screen. You can access this presentation I'll be working off today by simply going to the URL right here on the title slide, or you can simply scan the QR code. So just some basic information if you're not very familiar with green screen. Green screen is just a way to take any green material. It can literally be anything. You can paint a wall green, use a tablecloth, piece of construction paper. And what it does is you just use some simple software, and the software locates that color green and then replaces it with whatever image that you give it. And this is something that's been used for years on news broadcasts, movies, video games. It's lots of fun, super simple, and something that can be used all grade spans K-12. This is a picture of a project that we did a couple years ago where we set our green screen up outside of the cafeteria in preparation for our yearbook distribution, and I had students pose, grab some props, and pose on the red carpet. So really easy and a lot of fun. Where can you go with a green screen? The great thing about green screen is you can literally go anywhere. This was a project that we did with one of our feeder schools with these precious little kindergartners, and they were studying penguins. So we made a cute little headgear and a t-shirt that they could use to dress up as a penguin. And then they got to go visit Antarctica and some different places. And you can see here at the bottom of this picture, we would take the picture, but then have the students themselves actually use the software. So they were the ones that were doing that editing and actually learning about how the process worked. You can go to space. You can go in the ocean. You can go to the beach, to the mountains, anywhere that you can think of. So this, of course, is a very short list, but just kind of a way to get your creative juices flowing and to get some ideas going of some different green screen project ideas that we've seen and used across our county. Elementary, you could do book talk videos in the media center. Absolutely, that would be really easy to do, to have students read a book and then give a quick presentation using green screen to help get interest in those books. It's also really good to use with ESL students who need to practice those writing and speaking skills so they can write a very short script and then perform that in some way in front of whatever background they choose. In middle school, obviously lends itself really well to science, things such as weather reports. We also have another great idea down here called the claim game, where students, when they're learning about health and foods, and they can make a claim about a product or a food and something that it does, and then have their classmates evaluate those things. And then in high school, just a couple ideas. We've done dating service profile videos with foreign language students, and these are lots of fun. So they're practicing that vocabulary where they're learning and telling you about themselves, about how old they are, what they like to do, where they live. And so they do a fake dating profile and record it in Spanish or French or whatever foreign language you have at your school. Also works really well with social studies when they are learning about the different political parties, especially during election year, and they write, record, edit, and produce campaign or election commercials for different candidates. All right, so this is something, if you were actually attending a live session at NCBOLD, that we would get to do is just kind of a get to know you. I did want to include it here, even if you're viewing this asynchronously, because it might be an idea of something that you want to use. So participants will be given a different color starburst, and then you will converse with your table mates, and you'll share information based on the color of starburst that you received. And so those are the basic colors of the red, orange, yellow, and pink. And these are the questions that I came up with, where you just share something that you're reading, watching, or listening to, a favorite place that you would want to go on vacation. What would you do if you won $1 million? And if you were not an educator, what would you want to be? For a student, you could obviously modify that and say, if you could be anything in the world when you graduate, what do you want to be? And you can edit these questions. Then participants can then break off based on what color starburst they received into different groups if you're going to do any kind of group work. All right, so what if you're saying, I don't have a lot of money, my school doesn't have a lot of money? It is very easy to get started with green screen on a very small budget. These are some basic supplies you can use. And these are all actually links to the product on Amazon, so you can see exactly what we're talking about and how much they'll cost. But green file folders, let's say you have the students just create their props. They can draw them, cut them out, print them out. You can then attach those things to green straws, and they can manipulate their characters in front of either a green file folder or green construction paper. Also, the big green Lego base plates work really well also. So as you start using green screen, if you see it's something your students really love and you want to do more of, we would highly suggest investing in a green screen backdrop with a stand. We actually have a wall painted in one of our smaller offices that we repurposed for green screen, but we still have a portable screen on a stand that gets used quite often just because it is portable. So you can take that to a teacher's classroom, set it up outside of the lunchroom, in your media center for staff meetings if you want to do something fun with your staff. So just lots of ideas there. The gloves and mask are also really neat. If your video is where a student's going to be holding an object and you obviously don't want the student's hands to be in it, then they can just put on those green gloves and then you would not be able to see their hands. And then likewise, there's one for the face as well. All right, so the app that we commonly use is called Green Screen by Do Ink. Now, this is an iPad app, and so I'm sure some of you might be saying, but my district doesn't use iPads or I don't have access to that. So don't fret. There's also some alternatives that I'll be showing you a little later in the presentation. But this is one, if you do have access to it, whether it's on an iPad or also works on an iPhone, I believe it's still $4.99. So it is fairly cheap and it's just really easy to use. It's very intuitive. It's pretty much click and drag and the students learn it very quickly. You just show them once or twice and then they've got it and they kind of run with it. But we did want to show you that is the one that we highly recommend. We do want to take a second to talk about selecting background images. We always want to make sure we teach students about using things that are copyright free and in the Creative Commons. So some websites we found that are really good for this are Unsplash. Usually able to find really good images there. Pixabay is another good option. Or you can just still do a Google image search and just be sure to filter those results for things that are in the Creative Commons. If you've never done that before, I'll take a quick second and show you how. So we'll search for dogs because they're always cute. I simply go to images, and then right here I have an option that says tools, and then I have a usage rights, and I can drop down and choose things that are in the Creative Commons, and you'll see that you're still able to get lots of great results and make sure that you're using images that are copyright free. So at this point, if you were live at NCBOLD, we would actually take about 20 minutes and create our video and go through step-by-step how to do that. If you are watching this asynchronously, if you want to take some time and just explore some of those websites to search for images, then please feel free to do so. Okay, so like I said earlier, some of you might be going, this looks great, it looks super simple, but I don't have an iPad. Or I don't have a green screen. Don't worry. There are other options that are super simple to use. There's one called Remove BG, and then also there's now a green screen option in Canva. So let's take a second and look at those. Remove BG is so easy to use. You just simply come here to upload image. You can pull from your camera or from your computer, or you can just click and drag something. And so there's my awesome school picture there. And it goes ahead and shows you what it's going to look like if it automatically removes that background for you. And you'll see it does a really good job. I can simply just click download, and I then have that saved as an image file. I can then use Google Draw. I can use Canva. I can use really anything that I want to place this picture on top of whatever background I want it to be on top of. So you're getting that same green screen effect without actually using the green screen. So that's Remove BG. And then the other option is Canva. A lot of you have, already have Canva accounts or are familiar with it. But if not, I'll show you real quick. You can just click Create Design. I'm just going to randomly choose, let's do a poster. And then I've already got a bunch of images uploaded, so I'll just come over here and choose one. There's a picture in my husband and I in the mountains last summer. So let's say I want to remove this background. I just simply come over here to Edit Photo. And you'll see there's now a tool right here that says BG Remover. I just click it and bam, that quick. Then right within Canva, if I wanted to choose another image and drag it onto the screen, I could just then layer this image on top of it. And I'll take a second and show you an example of where we did this. So for National School Library Month, of course I can't find it. There we go. For National School Library Month, we did read posters. And so the teachers just sent me a picture, or I took a quick picture, and then I used the remove background feature within Canva and then put a picture of them on top of a cover of the book that they are currently reading. And we were able to post these around the media center so they could see that their teachers are readers as well. So it was really cool, super easy to do. Never used the green screen, just did it right within Canva. All right. So this is just a list of some really helpful tips and tricks that we have learned over the years, some helpful suggestions. It really does help the students if they actually write their script and do just a quick storyboard. It can be super simple, but just the image that they want to use and then the script that they're going to use when they are filming in front of that image. Something about that process of writing it down and really thinking about it. When we actually hit record, their students are going to be nervous. Your staff are going to be nervous. That's just kind of the way it is. But if they practice that script and they've written it out, then they're a little more prepared, and they'll usually will have more confidence in themselves and do a little bit better. Make sure you do verify those background images for copyright and fair use, like we talked about. Remember to not wear green. It's always really funny when somebody forgets, and then we go to make that green screen video and, they look like a floating head because it removes, their torso because they're wearing a green sweatshirt. So just remind folks not to wear green on the day that they're actually going to record. And then use props and costumes that add details to your images. That's what makes it so fun. When we did this picture here where you can see the students in the snow globe, it was, a day, the Snow Globe Family was the book that it was based off of. And we just brought some simple scarves and some jackets, and they could throw those on and look like they were cold inside of the snow globe. And then they did a writing activity to go along with it. You also can print those scripts out in a large font, or there's actually an online teleprompter called Q Prompter, CUE Prompter, and you just copy and paste your text, and it turns your laptop screen into a teleprompter. You can place the laptop, near the camera where the students can see it, and they can read their script as it scrolls up on the screen. And then lastly, practice. Obviously, the more the students have practiced, when they're actually ready to record, it usually will go a lot smoother. And then lastly, have fun. This is meant to be fun. It definitely can be a project, and it might actually be for a grade, but the students really enjoy usually the ability to work together, to be creative, to write their own scripts, and really the sky's the limit with what they come up with. We'll usually start with one idea, and the students will take it far beyond, what we even thought of, because they're just so creative. All right, so at this point, what I would like everyone to do, if you can take a minute, and this little meme here is just how I feel most of the time, says, I have an idea, a good one. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. That's how I usually think about something until it plays out and I get some help with it. So let's help each other. Let's add your ideas here. This is just a link to a Wakelet. If you haven't used Wakelet, it's pretty cool. It's very similar to Padlet, but instead of just text, you have the ability to add other things as well. But we're just going to use the text option for today. And so you can just click this very first option right here, add text, and take a second and type out any thoughts or ideas that you have already used or that you are thinking that you might be able to use in your school, in your classroom. And then this will remain the same for every session that I have. So hopefully over the course of the week, we'll get lots of great ideas going here on this Wakelet. All right. I really hope that you have found this to be worthwhile and that you've been able to take something away from this that you can use. Please do not hesitate to reach out to me in any way if I can be of any assistance. You have my email there as well as my Twitter handle. I will be more than happy to answer any questions or send you any information that could help you get started on your green screen journey. Thank you so much.